Hey, how's it going? I just did a 2 hour meditation, and it felt kind of like therapy for me. There's been a few things that have been frustrating me, annoying me, which just mean that I'm out of alignment with myself and I'm not connecting to myself, honestly. If you're annoyed with something, you're either out of alignment or you are holding on to beliefs in yourself that are causing you pain. Whenever we're annoyed with something, it's usually reminding us of something that we don't like about ourselves or something from our past that we haven't completely reconciled with. And this stuff can stick around forever and just be so resilient or treacherous. I'm not sure what the right word I'm looking for. They can be so pervasive, I guess. And this stuff can hang around forever. I think that's why it's so important to connect to yourself every day. And I make excuses or I get busy and I don't do it as much or don't do it at all some days. And I feel like I always pay for it later on. It's really undoing the conditioning we've had since birth. We think that the external circumstances are the important things, and they're really not, because those things always change and they're never going to be perfect or ideal. That's not the number one priority. I mean, having goals and meeting needs, surviving, of course, that stuff is extremely important. Otherwise, you can't live. And you can't thrive and have a better quality life and have happiness. But the number one priority before that really should be to connect to yourself, to really get underneath the surface of you and not spend so much time numbing ourselves with the billions of distractions that we have, mostly with technology, everything from TV, social media, the phone, the computer, iPads, whatever they may be, just everything. The mainstream media, movies, music, TV shows, all that stuff. That stuff is not inherently evil, but the fact that there's so much of it and it's instantly accessible to numb ourselves from what's going on in our own lives and distract us from our own lives, it's an easy trap to get into. It really is. And you can get alcohol anytime you want, you can get cigarettes, you can get drugs, you can look at pornography anytime. That's the most accessible drug right there. And I'm not saying that I became a drug addict and a porn addict all over again. Not that I ever had a problem with drugs, but I did have a problem with porn. But I find myself getting in that mindset and just numbing myself with however I can. And just within a day or two. I'm not saying you have to treat meditation as a new addiction, but really put the power back in yourself rather than the things outside of yourself. And it's not that hard to do. You just have to sit there with your eyes closed and just listen. Just listen. The silence is just as important as the noise and the movement and the plans and the things going on and the things that you think you need to do. They're just as important, if not more important. I felt really addictive right before I started my meditation, but just even 30, 45 minutes into it, after the chaos finally died down, oh, am I doing this right? Oh, this is a waste of time. Maybe I should go do something. Oh my gosh, I'm too antsy to do this right now. It finally died down. And then that feeling came back, not as strong, and it would come back again, and it just dies down. Eventually, it's just, you have this kind of peace over you. And, I was stressing about some things, but I know I'm okay. Whenever I'm stressed out, I say, I know I am okay. I am fine, but my brain is stressed. And I see my brain as something separate from me. I don't see my brain as me. I don't identify. I don't try to identify with my thoughts. I don't try to identify with my circumstances. I don't try to identify with my old stories. I don't try to identify with my habitual patterns. I'm really trying to get underneath all of that and access the real me, access my soul, my heart. And I'm not saying this on a very spiritual level, or maybe I am, but really getting to the real you, the part of you that's just there and has always been there, and it's separate from everything else, including the thoughts in your mind. It's just love. That's all it is. It's just love, soul, heart. It's just, you can access that. Doing that, spending time with yourself every day, an hour or two a day, is not excessive. What is excessive is doing what everyone else, the average person, is doing, which is doing what they think they should be doing and being so obsessed with everything outside of themselves. Things that will constantly change, will always be there, and don't actually bring everlasting happiness. You can access the love that is already you at any time. And when you come from that place, you're going to be so much more. You're just going to be. You're going to have abundance, and you get to spread that love outward instead of taking the love inward, trying to reach for things that you think are going to make you feel a certain way, instead of just allowing all the emotions that you have, sad or happy, the whole spectrum. Neither one of them are worse than the other. If you just allow all that stuff and be completely a complete source of self-love, you can be just a complete source of self-love. You just are. You don't have to do things anymore. I was trying to think of something to say, but there's really nothing to say. If you just love yourself and just allow yourself to feel everything that comes up, instead of running from it, distracting yourself from it, addicting yourself from it, numbing yourself from it, you just are. You're not attached to anything. You are just being the love that you already are. And that is the most powerful thing a person can do at their time. Stay sexy, Frannies. Stay soon.